We've talked on the YouTube channel about Evolve in this franchise moving forward, or I should just say this title moving forward, because we've only had one Evolve title up to this point, guys. And I want to talk about, in this segment of the show, will we see Evolve 2? And any content based around the Evolve universe, guys, you guys can check out here on the YouTube channel. But Evolve 2, guys, is one of those titles I've been preaching on the YouTube channel to get made. I want to see a continuation here. I thought that Evolve was a title that was beyond its time. It was certainly a title that I felt had a lot of opportunity. It was kind of like a Dead by Daylight before Dead by Daylight. And a lot of these other titles before they came out, and it was kind of like an original, and there were a number of reasons why we saw the demise of Evolve, as from the player base to just a number of microtransactions, things of that nature, lots of different editions that you could buy. So the big question is, will we see an Evolve 2? Let's talk about it. So guys, according to the Wikipedia page for Evolve, when we look at the sales, two things kill a franchise, or really a continuation, whatever you want to call it. Number one is obviously the sales. If the sales are weak, guys, that's where you're most likely not going to see a sequel, because the sales, at the end of the day, it's all about money to these developers, to the publishers. And so, you know, the bottom line is it has to be successful. Number two is the reviews. Is the critical reception very positive? So those are the two things that we got to kind of look at here with Evolve. So let's talk about that. So Evolve, it debuted number one in the UK software sales chart, the first title 2K Games had published to take the number one spot since March 2013. Evolve was the best-selling game in the United States in February, according to the MPD Group, only behind the handheld game The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. However, the average player count on Steam declined significantly since the game's launch. The game's player count increased 15,930% and was listed as one of Steam's most played games after its transition to a free-to-play model. More than 1 million new players played the game after the transition, but it almost felt like it was like a little bit too little too late. It felt like they didn't go free to play soon enough, and this was just one of those titles, guys, that I feel was brought out at a time where there was, you know, it was trying to disrupt the gaming space, you know, trying to kind of disrupt this kind of genre of games, and it was still trying to kind of figure its way. And we've seen games like I just mentioned about, like Dead by Daylight, that really kind of took those models and figured it out and really took it to the next level. But that being said, financial analyst Doug Kreutz of the Cowen Group estimated only 300,000 physical copies were sold in Evolve's launch month, and by its current sales rate, a well below average figure for the AAA gaming industry. Kreutz stated that Evolve may be too niche to reach a wide audience, adding that the negative reception to its DLC plan has hindered its success considerably. Despite such estimations, Karl Slatoff, president of Take-Two Interactive, stated that Evolve has achieved an incredibly successful launch and that the company was very satisfied with the sales of the game. As of May 2015, 2.5 million copies of the game had been shipped. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick considered the property one of their permanent franchises, joining Grand Theft Auto, BioShock, and Red Dead. So, obviously, guys, the CEO saying it's one of the permanent franchises, but we haven't seen a continuation since the first title, and we're talking a long time ago, right? And so here's the thing. To me, the sales certainly could have been better. Obviously, Take-Two saying it was good, and they felt they were happy with it. However, obviously, we haven't seen a continuation, so they probably were thinking we're going to move in a different direction here. Now, as far as the reception goes, guys, because that's number two, the sales were obviously, to some folks, was pretty good. To others, wasn't very good at all. And I feel like the player base is really where we saw the decline. There was a massive decline in the player base based on the DLC, based on microtransactions, things of that nature. Now, let's talk about the reception. Destructoid had it at a 6 out of 10, 10 being the best. Game Informer had it 8.5 out of 10. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. So when I look at that, I think to myself, okay, the reception was pretty good. It was above average for sure, and a number of people did enjoy it. So what can we take from this? So the sales obviously were so-so. The reception was pretty good. So where does that leave us here with Evolve 2? I believe, guys, that this is a title that could very well come back in the future, but it's going to come down to the fan base. It's going to come down to us voicing our opinion, saying, hey, to Take-Two Interactive, we want another Evolve made. We've seen this, guys, happen a number of times. Us as the community we can echo these games into existence. I'll give you a perfect example. I've been preaching on this YouTube channel to get a Dead Space 4 made, to have another Dead Space continuation made, and it felt like forever, and it felt like we weren't making any headway, and I was starting to get concerned about it, but then all of a sudden, Dead Space gets announced. It's because, guys, there's a movement around Dead Space. There's people in the community that still love this franchise, even though it's a niche, in the horror space, and I feel like it really transcended the horror genre as we know it in gaming. But there was a lot of doubt I had at some point that we were ever going to get a continuation, and we got a continuation, which is awesome, in the form of a remake, which is great because then the future of Dead Space could be, kind of take us into the next generation of gaming. The same thing can happen here, but it really comes down to us as the community. We have to voice our opinion, guys, that we want another Evolve title made, whether that's through social media. No matter where it is, guys, that's how you echo games into existence. It's the community. Sure, obviously these are businesses that are looking at the numbers. They're looking at the reception of what the games are doing. They're the ones that are going to look at that and they're going to say, typically, if it does really well, they're going to say, yeah, we're going to green light this. But from this perspective, this is a title that hasn't come out in a long time, guys, or I should say a sequel to it has not come out. And so, we're looking back all the way to 2015. So what I'm saying, guys, is this. Will we see an Evolve 2? We could see an Evolve 2. It seems pretty doubtful at this point, but we as the community can really dictate what happens here based on our actions on social media, based on what we do to try to get this game made, echoing it into existence. That's what we got to do, guys. If you want to see an Evolve 2 made, definitely reach out to the developers, being Turtle Rock Studios, to the publisher, being 2K Games. Reach out to these companies, guys, and voice that you want to see an Evolve 2. We know Turtle Rock Studios is working currently on Back 4 Blood, which is a spiritual successor, of course, to Left 4 Dead. 2K Games has their hands in a number of different things, probably all hands on deck with Grand Theft Auto. The fact of the matter is that the CEO said that he wanted this to be a permanent title in their, of their lineup of games, joining Red Dead Redemption, joining that of Grand Theft Auto. That's a big statement. So there were plans to make Evolve a big, long-withstanding franchise. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think it's going to take for us to see an Evolve 2? Does it seem doubtful to you? Do you think we can make it happen as a community? Let's have a real conversation about it in the comment section down below. And for more Evolve 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.